Denis Connerton, you got to be happy with that result.
Delighted, absolutely delighted to get to the last four. As I said previously, at times this year it didn't look like we would make it, but we made it, and it was a fabulous team performance. I thought individually there was some big performances within it as well, but as a team I thought we did very well today, and I'm delighted to get into the semi-finals of the Senior Championship.
You got goals at the right times in psychology, at least. One at the start, one at the end of the first half. It just sets up the team talk for you at half time, really.
Yeah, and you don't plan that sort of stuff, it's great to get it when it happens for you. It was very quick thinking by Robbie Lowe at the quick free to get us the second goal. That was huge for us. The start, last year it took 29 minutes for these young men to get a score against Melvin Gaels, so the start to get a goal at the very beginning today was a huge tonic for us.
In terms of the game, obviously there's been a lot of talk about this being a replica of last year's quarter-final. The result very different from last year, maybe a heavy defeat last year for St Mary's. They're on the right side of it this year. What do you put that down to?
Well, they're working very hard. I wasn't involved, so I can't talk about what they did in the past, but Melvin Gaels is a really good team. They're some outstanding footballers, and we got that goal. I think the start was huge for us today. It was a massive tonic for to get, and we built on that start. But they came back into the game after the water break, and it was worrying for us coming up to half time. But for to get that second goal just before the half time whistle blew, that was big for us. And the goals win games, and the fact that we didn't concede a goal was important for us also.
Discipline played a big game big role in the game today, should I say. They had a couple of black cards, a red card as well. You managed to keep the full complement on the pitch. How important is it in games like this where they're tight battles, and it was a tight battle up until probably just that goal at half time, that to keep everybody available and on the same game plan?
Yeah, that's important for us, and our discipline was very good, by those young men. It's important that they keep their discipline, because your discipline will be checked out in an hour's club football in Leitrim, because it is a small county and everybody knows everybody else, so they're very familiar with each other from being in county panels, whether it's underage or whether it's a senior panel or under 20, whatever. So they're all very familiar with each other, so there's no massive surprises going to be struck at any place. Melvin Gaels they probably were a little bit frustrated because the game wasn't going the manner in which they probably expected it to go. They wouldn't have expected us to be leading by 4 points early on, and then for them to have to come back and to get level with us again, and take the lead. They were big moments for them, and they probably got a little bit fatigued in making that effort and that comeback. That probably tired them out a little bit. But mentally the games are draining, emotionally they're draining, and physically they're draining, and probably some of those lads were a little bit frustrated at that stage when they got those cards.
In terms of, I suppose, the bigger picture, looking in at the championship, you've been on plenty of sidelines across different clubs over the years. Yeah. There's no crowd here today, and so there's nobody really either to get there to support players, to maybe influence from the outside and lift the spirits of a team that's struggling, or to push on a team that's doing well. So the teams that get ahead tend to stay ahead in the games over the last few weekends. Do you see that as well, or are you does it even come into your thinking?
No, well, definitely it didn't happen for us, because we went ahead in games and we lost that lead, and we had to get last minute points to win it, and last minute goals as well. So it's just very strange. I find the lack of atmosphere has to be very strange for the players in particular. Honestly, as a manager, I don't mind, because I don't hear. I'll be so focused and so involved in the game, I don't hear anything, so it makes no difference to me. I must be completely and totally deaf when the game starts. So I don't mind that. But for the players, it has to be so strange. Which is great to be playing football this year, because at times, when you go back to April and May, I didn't think we would be playing football. So it's great to be playing football, and it's really fabulous to be in the last four of the championship.
Well, speaking of the last four, the very best luck in the draw in just a couple of hours' time here on the Leitrim GAA live broadcast. Whoever you get, the best luck in the last four in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks a million for that. Best of luck.